night, a tragic loss caused by a carbon monoxide leak at a downtown apartment building. How to avoid e-transfer scams heading into the holidays, and how a dog's rescue led to a new addition for a Saskatoon fire hall.
Live from our studios in Regina, this is CTV News.
Good evening. Lee is away this week. An 11-year-old boy has died as a result of a carbon monoxide leak in a Regina apartment building on Friday night. Jacob Carr explains how the boy's parents are looking for answers as to how this happened and the investigation that's currently unfolding.
The parents of Henry Losco are searching for answers after the 11-year-old died on Friday night due to a carbon monoxide leak in their apartment building. Losco's father, Sergio, and mother, Marina Hills, both say a carbon monoxide alarm did not go off during the incident.
I don't know if there's been some on the other stores, but nobody, if it's been, or it was unearthed, or nobody can check for the other apartment. And now my son is gone. I need to know why.
Hills recounts coming home from work and finding Sergio on the floor, struggling for breath before finding Henry in his room. Hills says a neighbor called 911 while she attempted to revive him. Emergency responders arrived quickly, but it was too late for Henry. He was pronounced dead at the scene. Hills says all occupants of the building were forced to evacuate, and she was allowed back inside after a few hours.
There was about 7 or 8 police, and they just sat in the hallway and they all cried. Oh, they all cried. And I just told them how beautiful my son was, and I kissed him and I kissed him, and I couldn't stop kissing him.
Regina Fire Chief Lane Jackson says there is an ongoing investigation following the incident, but the cause of the leak was found to be a piece of service equipment that was being repaired at the time.
The investigators and some technical experts are still examining very carefully that piece of equipment to determine what failed with it and the nature of that failure.
Hills says she will not be going back to their apartment building and doesn't know where she and Sergio, who is currently being treated for carbon monoxide poisoning, will live now.
I don't know where I'm going to go. I have to try to bury my son, and they want me to pick a funeral home, and I don't even know which one to pick.
Hills also saying she is grateful that she was allowed to say one final goodbye to her son before investigators took over, adding his name was Henry Benjamin Losco and he was only 11 years old. Jacob Carr, CTV News, Regina.
Members of Ochapowace First Nation and surrounding communities are also looking to come to grips with the loss of a young life. As McFavel reports, a boy's sudden death over the weekend is now under investigation.
RCMP are investigating after a preteen boy was found dead on Ochapowace Nation Saturday night. According to police, the boy left a home on foot around 5 p.m., moving from one residence to another, but he never made it to his destination. The boy's body was found by someone passing by just before 8 p.m., located several hundred meters from the original residence. An autopsy is needed to confirm a cause of death, but at this time it is not being considered suspicious. RCMP cannot confirm if the death is related to an animal mauling, weather conditions, or if another element was a factor. The Office of Chief and Counsel has released a statement extending their condolences to the boy's family, saying, "This was a horrific incident that has deeply shaken our community and is especially devastating at this time of the year." Adding, "We hold the family, their loved ones, and those who came upon this tragic scene in our prayers." They are also offering mental health and crisis supports for anyone who needs it. Because the cause of death has not been determined, RCMP are asking the public to refrain from any vigilant acts towards animals. The Ochapowace Nation also says information will be prepared on measures to help prevent future incidents like this. Mick Favel, CTV News, near the Ochapowace Nation.
A Saskatchewan judge has dismissed a lawsuit filed by a group of victims' families in the Humboldt Broncos bus crash. The crash resulted in the deaths of 16 people and injuries to 13 others when a semi collided with the Broncos team bus at a rural intersection near Tisdale on April 6, 2018. Following the crash, parents of Adam Harold, Jackson Joseph, Logan Hunter, Jacob Light, and Mark Cross launched a lawsuit against Jaskarat Singh Sidhu, who was the driver of the truck that collided with the team bus, along with several other defendants, including the government of Saskatchewan, arguing claims of negligence. A judge has now ruled in a decision dated December 16th that the lawsuit cannot proceed, saying allegations made in a proposed pleading are not sound in law. Sadu was sentenced to 8 years in prison in 2019 after pleading guilty to dangerous driving offenses connected with the crash, and faces deportation to India following his sentence. Conservation officers have charged 2 people in connection with an illegal outfitting scheme near Briarcrest. The investigation started with a tip 2 years ago that a wild moose was harvested inside the Heartland Whitetails Game Farm enclosure and wild deer were being baited into a fenced area. A 1.5-year-long investigation found 3 European clients traveled to the farm in September of 2023, the owner outfitting 1 client without a license, leading to the illegal harvesting of a moose and a deer. The owner of Heartland Whitetails pleaded guilty to illegal outfitting last month, receiving a fine over $36,000 and a 5-year hunting license suspension. An Austrian hunt broker also faces a fine and a suspension. Holiday shopping has prompted an increase in online fraud. Financial institutions say people are in a rush to finalize gift purchases and may not be as vigilant in conducting online transactions as they normally would be. One Regina family is in the midst of trying to recover a $5,000 loss to a fraudster. Wayne Mantica reports.
Pamela Pradell thought it was a hoax when she received email notifications that money had been e-transferred from the family bank account.
I logged in and I'm like, our account's just fine. Like, it's okay. So we've gotten those emails before that were spam, so we didn't think anything of it.
Days later, more e-transfers took place, totaling about $5,000. That's when they went to their BMO branch.
We had to wait till Monday to contact the bank. We changed our bank cards. We did all of that.
Canada's Ombudsman for Banking has investigated and found the Pradells at fault for not immediately notifying their bank of the e-transfer notifications.
It's hard because this was money my dad had left me before he died, and so some of that's gone.
Computer security experts say fraudsters have several ways of accessing banking information.
Let's say, for example, you were on a list. Let's say you used your email to log into a site for baking recipes or something like that, right? And you've got an email to get in there. Those websites may have been compromised and their database may have been hacked, and you're now on a list, your email, along with your commonly used password. And because people use the same password for a lot of different things, if it worked for this one, maybe it'll work for that. So
Connexus Credit Union was not involved in this case, but warned its customers about an increase in online fraud during the busy holiday shopping season.
There's all types of scams always happening. Something we've heard about just recently is fraudsters impersonating for your financial institution or perhaps a major streaming platform and indicating that your payment information has expired or isn't working and asking you to provide them your credit card information.
The Pradell family is now working with the RCMP to track down its money. It's been determined that the e-transfer went to a digital bank account, with police trying to determine where in the world that may be. Wayne Mantica, CTV News, Regina.
Sabine Ahmed joins us now in our weather center for our first look at weather conditions. Sabine, for a little bit this afternoon, it almost looked a bit like Friday, but without that extreme wind that was really getting everything moving.
And you don't want to tell everyone that you asked me to turn the switch off to make it stop. So I just did.
You're right. I don't want to tell everyone that, but here we are.
Yes. I mean, even right now, actually, Cole, that you mentioned it, we're seeing those winds gusting up to, well, just last hour, gusting over 55 and currently gusting over 50. So if you are making some last-minute shopping trips out there, just be aware that the visibility could get affected by the wind gusts and the snow that we already are seeing on the ground. There is blue on the map right now, and those are some cold warnings that we're seeing issued for parts of central Saskatchewan, Saskatoon, Wynyard, Kindersley, Unity, Wilkie, North Battleford, Prince Albert, all under extreme cold warnings where they could see wind chill values into the minus 40s tonight and sticking around for tomorrow as well. Southern Saskatchewan not seeing that, but still expecting to see some very cold wind chill values. Right now, we're currently sitting at minus 17 in Regina with a wind chill of minus 30. Now, the average daytime high usually is hovering around minus 9, and we're close to that today, but expect those cold wind chill values tonight, and I'll talk more about that coming up in your forecast. Cole?
All right, thanks, Sabine. Always appreciate these forecasts heading into the holidays. Lots of people out on the highways and roads. The University of Saskatchewan's Department of Psychology is in the early stages of a study that will evaluate the state of mental health among members of the Saskatoon Fire Department. In partnership with the City of Saskatoon and the U of S, the SFD is recruiting members to take part in a series of surveys which will include both firefighters and their family members. The hope is better understanding the effectiveness of tools currently in place to help firefighters dealing with trauma.
What I hope to see is a really good understanding of how our membership is doing so that we and management from the fire department can advocate for better training, better resources for the mental health of our staff.
The study is set to begin in the new year. Well, it's a heartwarming end to a dramatic dog rescue on the South Saskatchewan River earlier this month. As Keenan Sorokan finds out, a Saskatoon firefighter now has a new best friend after pulling him from the icy waters.
Meet Stryker, the curious 3-year-old pup who's become the newest unofficial member of the Saskatoon Fire Department. Stryker is thriving now, but was on thin ice nearly 2 weeks ago.
We tried calling out to him, and he's just sitting in the middle of the river, just shivering and scared and not moving from his spot.
On December 12th, fire crews were called to the University Bridge to rescue a dog on the middle of the river as temperatures dipped below minus 30. It was Nathaniel Crone who managed to get a leash around the dog's collar, get him on the boat, and safely bring him back to shore.
You can tell he's a good boy, and he cuddled up to me right away, and I want a good lap dog, so yeah, I fell in love with him instantly.
Crone took that as a sign. After growing up around animals, he says he always wanted one of his own. Once the crew made it to the fire hall, animal shelter was called, but no one claimed the dog. So Crone stepped up, adopted him, and named him Stryker after the boat used to rescue him.
He's getting more confident. He's walking well. There's a lot of training that still has to get done, but yeah, he's behaving really well. And he's made himself right at home.
Battalion Chief Dwayne Jobson says Stryker has fit in well at the station.
It was extremely cold that day. The dog was in a little bit of a danger, so it turned out to be a nice, safe rescue.
A rescue that ended with a new best friend.
Given the circumstance, I'm still obviously a very scary moment for him, but very happy moment for us too.
Keenan Sorokan, CTV News, Saskatoon.
Dozens of clients of the John Howard Society enjoyed a Christmas dinner today thanks to a local company. Interpro Pipe and Steel donated enough food for about 60 turkey dinners, including all the fixings. Staff from the company were dishing up those dinners today at the John Howard Society's office on 11th Avenue. The Society says financial help from the private sector is always appreciated, allowing better food security for their 40 adult and 80 youth clients. In addition to the dinner, Interpro Pipe and Steel has also donated winter clothing and $10,000 in cash.
Interpro Pipe and Steel has, gave us quite a bit of money to keep the doors open here for the rest of the year and even further. So we're really grateful. We asked for winter clothing donations. They went above and beyond and gave much more than we expected. So we're really grateful.
The John Howard Society operates a year-round drop-in center for youth and adults, offering washrooms, showers, and a gym. One of the busiest shopping seasons of the year is now in high gear, and while many shoppers are clicking add to cart, there's a change that's been taking place for several years on how people make their purchases. As Carla Shinkaruk reports, the idea that retail is dead isn't exactly true. It's just been reinvented.
Inside Bill's House of Flowers on Broadway, Chantel Pulak gets to escape the winter in this sweet-smelling oasis. She's been doing this for about 20 years and says the way her customers shop has been changing for a while.
Most of the times when people are coming into our store, they're looking for connection. Really, they're looking for a conversation.
That shift lines up with what marketing experts are seeing in the retail industry, with shoppers looking for more of an experience.
Retail is not dead, it's changing.
This expert from the University of Saskatchewan says many stores have adapted by making the in-store experience faster, easier, and more convenient.
Normally on the customer journey, you start on your phone, but a lot of sales are still made in store. It's a bit of a false thing to say online versus e-commerce. They've kind of blurred into one.
He says places like Sephora have blended online efficiency with a storefront, and at Lululemon they have staff completing sales on smartphones with customers as they walk around the store.
You found the stuff you want, it's been pleasurable, and all of a sudden you've got the pain point of paying. And everyone hates a long line up at the till. So if someone can do it and make it painless and quick, you leave happy.
Smell them every time.
For Pulak, the change has also meant seeing customers who are more informed than ever before.
There's so many options of videos, DIY videos, and it's like, come acquire the product, give it a shot.
So while online shopping continues to grow, brick and mortar stores like this one are still finding ways to bloom. The reasons may be even more simple.
The connections that we have with our customers really kind of builds us up.
She's well aware also that her business has an added drawing card.
I think we're super lucky already with people wanting to come into the store and smell the flowers.
Carla Shinkaruk, CTV News, Saskatoon.
Still ahead, Canada names its next ambassador to the United States, a critical role given recent trade troubles, and checking in with holiday travelers during the busiest travel window of the year. Nearly a year into Donald Trump's presidency, Canada has announced a new ambassador to the United States. Mark Wiseman will replace Kirsten Hillman in February. The change comes at a crucial time as Canada gets ready to renegotiate its existing trade agreement with the U.S. and Mexico. Kuzma so far shielding the Canadian economy from the worst effects of tariffs, but things could soon change dramatically. CTV's Jeremy Sharon reports.
He is a global investment banker, pension fund manager, and friend of Prime Minister Mark Carney. Now, Mark Wiseman will be Canada's next ambassador to the U.S.
There is going to be an enormous amount of hurdles and landmines that the ambassador is going to have to walk through.
He steps into what is widely viewed as Canada's top foreign post without any diplomatic experience, but the Prime Minister's office points to his extensive experience at American financial institutions and knowledge of capital markets on both sides of the border.
He brings that outside of politics, real-world experience that I think will be of benefit to the country for sure.
In a social media post announcing the appointment, the Prime Minister says, as a core member of our negotiating team, I know he will advance the interests of Canadian workers, businesses, and institutions.
Carney is betting that Wiseman's finance credentials will command the attention and the respect of Trump.
A bet that couldn't come with higher stakes for the trade relationship between the two countries.
And there's a lot of anxiety over sectoral tariffs and then the Kuzma review. So really important here in this case that the Prime Minister has recruited someone who's a globally recognized deal maker.
In 2025, the current Kuzma deal helps shield Canada from the worst impacts of tariffs. But with its review set to begin in the new year, there are no guarantees.
The president can and quite possibly will walk away from this agreement. And if he does, then I think all bets are off.
Sources tell CTV News Wiseman won't be alone at the negotiating table. The Prime Minister, along with Dominic LeBlanc, the minister in charge of Canada-U.S. relations, will also play critical roles. Jeremy Sherrill, CTV News, Ottawa.
Elsewhere, a former Regina MP is wrapping up his tenure as Canada's High Commissioner to the United Kingdom.
And that assignment is just about to come to an end. And Pam and I are heading back home to Saskatchewan in Canada.
Ralph Goodale is moving away from the position he's held since 2021, saying it's been a wonderful 5 years in London. Prior to becoming High Commissioner to the UK, Goodale was a longtime Liberal Member of Parliament in Regina, Wascana, holding office from 1993 to 2019. Firefighters in Canada say they're facing more violence on the job. The union, representing thousands of firefighters in Canada and the U.S., is urging the federal government to strengthen protections. They say out of 117 fire departments, 40% of firefighters say they've experienced an assault in the past 5 years, with incidents ranging from verbal abuse to deadly attacks. The Department of Justice says it recognizes the need to protect emergency personnel and ensure a workplace free from abuse and harassment. It's the busiest travel time of the year as Canadians from across the country head on vacation or to visit family and friends. But it appears there's one destination that's still getting the cold shoulder from Canadians. CTV's Scott Hurst reports.
During the holiday season, Toronto Pearson, Canada's busiest airport, is expecting more than 3 million passengers, so it'll likely be very busy. It is a similar story at airports right across the country, both big and small. But as the year comes to a close, one glaring travel trend stands out.
We have boycotted traveling to the States.
Travel to the United States continues to take a hit. In October, according to new data from StatsCan, the number of Canadians returning on trips from the U.S. was down more than 26% year over year. Political turmoil with the current U.S. administration erupted soon after Donald Trump returned to the White House, and he began poking fun at America's northern neighbor and attacking Canada's sovereignty. It is a trend that has remained consistent for much of the year, Canadians saying no to popular U.S. travel hotspots.
A lot of concern going forward about who is going to be traveling and will they be traveling back to the U.S., and time will only tell. But at this point, definitely I'm seeing a reduction in crowds and people and lineups and reservations and anything like that.
It is a similar story for Canadians traveling south of the border back by car. Return trips by Canadian residents from the U.S. on land declined more than 30% to 1.6 million in October. Here's one category that has turned around. Trips to Canada by U.S. residents has increased for the first time in 8 months. Scott Hurst, CTV News, Toronto.
Canada's Food Inspection Agency is warning several types of pizza pops from the brand at Pillsbury are being recalled over concerns they could be contaminated with E. coli. The agency says the recall includes some of the brand's pepperoni and bacon snacks, including the Supremo and Frank's Red Hot varieties. The company, General Mills, says other Pillsbury pizza pops are not affected. According to the agency, 5 illnesses have been linked to the recalled products in Saskatchewan. Your full forecast, checking in with Regina Mayor Chad Bachynski for a look back on his first full year as mayor.
Pickleball. All right, let's get into your forecast heading into this week, Christmas week. I'm sure many people are out and about getting ready for Christmas on Thursday, Christmas Eve falling on Wednesday, and you're about to find out what you can expect weather-wise. -17 is what we're sitting at in the Queen City. Wind chill is still sitting at about -30. Winds right now just under 40 kilometers an hour, but they are gusting up to 50 still. So we may still experience some higher wind gusts as we head into the overnight, and the wind chill value also expected to drop. The southern half of Saskatchewan, or closer to the southern border at least, we're not seeing any cold warnings issued just yet. That could change. As of right now, the wind chill values expected for the overnight are still hovering in the mid-30s for parts of southern Saskatchewan. Now, as I mentioned earlier, what we're expecting for parts of southern Saskatchewan in areas around the Saskatoon, actually even further into Prince Albert, they are expecting to see wind chill values dipping to -40 or a little colder for tonight into tomorrow. Further north, wind chill values between -45 to 50, and that's not expected to lift until midweek this week. So something to keep in mind if you are traveling within the province later this week. In terms of what we saw, we did see a little bit of that snow. I tried to hit the off switch for coal. It did not turn off. We're still seeing some of that snow making its way through parts of Saskatchewan. Now, as we head into the overnight, we will see that system clear out, leaving us with a mix of sun and cloud as we head into tomorrow morning. So depending on where you are in the Parkland, looking like starting off your morning with some clear conditions, but the clouds are still expected to continue rolling throughout the day, and we will see some more snow coming through parts of northern Saskatchewan. As we head into Tuesday night, more cloud cover expected, and by Wednesday we'll start to see a little bit more of that snow making its way in from the west and parts of southern Saskatchewan, and then eventually heading into northern Saskatchewan again by Wednesday evening. By Thursday morning, that pink is more freezing rain is expected. So you can see southern Saskatchewan expecting to get a little bit more of that freezing rain throughout the morning. More snow just north of the Regina area, up in Saskatoon, Wynyard, Yorkton, expecting to see possibly a mix. Parts of the parkland could see a mix of freezing rain and snow. And that is expected to clear out later in the morning. So not something that's going to be sticking around, but also for the folks in southern Saskatchewan, keep an eye on the highway hotline if you do need to do any Christmas travels on the highway, especially if that freezing rain is expected. Hopefully we can get some more updates throughout today or tomorrow into Wednesday before we see that system come through. This is an updated look at what we can expect for snowfall totals, trace amounts, if anything, coming through the south, but that's also because we're going to see more of the freezing rain, seeing more snow coming through parts of the parkland. Lloydminster, close to 15 centimeters of snow, but tonight into tomorrow is what we're going to look at right now in terms of temperatures. And again, we will see those extreme cold values further around the Saskatoon area, minus 29 without wind chill, getting into the minus 40s. And then tomorrow we'll see a little bit of a warm up, minus 16 for Saskatoon, minus 17 for Yorkton, the southwest. Much warmer, above 0 for Maple Creek, plus 2 tomorrow, mostly cloudy, minus 1 Swift Current, minus 7 for Moose Jaw, the southeast. A little cooler, minus 12 for Weyburn, minus 10 for Estevan, so within that seasonal range, but warmer for Assiniboia at minus 3. Regina, we're not getting warmer, but minus 26 tonight. With a wind chill value tonight about minus 28, but into the overnight dipping down to minus 36. Tomorrow minus 13 is the expected daytime high. And then here's a look at your next 7 days. And there's your Christmas tree on Thursday. So minus 13, a mix of sun and cloud Tuesday. Clouds on Wednesday, minus 12. Thursday, expecting that freezing rain, snow in the morning. Minus 12 is the daytime high. Snow continuing a little on Friday, minus 10. And then a sunnier weekend, windy on Saturday, minus 19, minus 15 on Sunday. And then a warm up by Monday, minus 3 and mainly sunny.
For yourself, when you first came into office, what you wanted for your platform, you had ideas that you really wanted to strike as mayor. But of course, as a mayor, essentially when it comes to council, you're one vote, even though usually when people feel there's a problem in a city, the first person they think of is, I got to go to the mayor. So how have you handled that, the situation, knowing that, there are things you want to do, but realizing it has to be a group effort because essentially it's a group of votes as opposed to just one?
Well, I appreciate you mentioning that I'm one vote on council, because that is a common misconception that that I can unilaterally make a decision, which just isn't the case. That's not how we're set up. I'm one of 11 votes. And you're right. There's things that I did want to focus more on, and this year, but there was unforeseen challenges. There was a lot of learning and relationships that needed to be built, and so that ended up being a huge part of that focus. I still have certain things on my radar that I want to tackle. I campaigned strongly on construction. That is very much top of my mind, and early in the new year I plan to start diving into that more. Now that we're trying to get to a place of stability, I want to lean into that more. And then and part of that is talking with my colleagues who I've started that conversation with, and they understand where I want to go with that in terms of not dictating operations, but just understanding the way that we execute and the balance between cost effectiveness and execution.
Yeah, you mentioned some of the not troubling times, but more times that need to be fixed, and that was more so, you mentioned the city, the chief of police, some situations that happened where there needed to be people released. Chief Farouk Sheikh, his contract was terminated. Nikki Anderson, the city manager as well, after a leave of absence, her contract was terminated as well. How frustrating is it to know that these aren't issues that maybe first started with you, but you have to clean it up and now get things rolling again, knowing that it has cost the city time and a little bit of money as well?
It's I would say it's it is a little bit frustrating, but more so I would call myself a problem solver, and so at the end of the day, like I said before, when something is presented, we need to address it, and that's ultimately really where we have to tackle it from. There's no sense on dwelling what happened, how we got there. It's what's in front of us today, and how do we move forward, and that's really been my focus. I'm really looking at the tone of the city. Are we in a place where there's trust? Are we being transparent? And do we have the right leaders in place to create a culture for our city that we can be proud of? And for me, as a dad, proud to raise my kids in this city, and when they look at the leaders of our city, are those people and areas that I think they want to look up to. So it's these are challenges that we have to face, but ultimately that's our job, and we have to make those decisions in the best interest of the city.
What are your confidence that we're going to see, I don't want to say things turn around, but see some improvements when it comes to Real, when it comes to not just getting events, but just have how everything's structured and as far as financially and making sure everything works running well?
Extremely confident, and the reason I say that is because of what we're seeing both from an events and a budget side. This is the first time in a long time that Real's budget proposal, their subsidy request is less. It's not increasing, it's actually decreasing. It's decreased by about $400,000 if I remember correctly. So from a financial standpoint, it's actually turning a corner, and from an event standpoint, it's turning a corner in a positive way. With the Foo Fighters concert coming next year, multiple concerts sold out this year, more and more interest of holding more events and winning more bids. We have the Grey Cup coming in 2027. So I'm very, very optimistic about Real and the future of where we're going, and it's a huge credit to the board and the work of that organization to turn that around.
With the mill rate coming up and the high expectations, things possible to cut, how do you balance all those, knowing that you would love to have a low mill rate and all the services, but you've got to make choices, unfortunately, on which way you're going to go on both sides?
The biggest thing is things cost money, and we need to just call a spade, and that's where this budget process that we're going through has come from. It was a result of the first time we went through this. I think there was a feeling that we needed to put more on the table to show how this actually works, and that's been the whole idea around this process, is that we want to be upfront as to what it costs to run the city. I mean, we've artificially kept mill rates low for years. We've seen our reserves deplete to a point where there's actual risk associated if something big were to happen in the city that we had to address. So we need to find a path forward on that, and it does cost money to do that. Now we need to find that balance to not do it maybe all in one chunk.
Still ahead, a former NHL player has the green light to start operating a horse-drawn carriage business in our province.
Wardrobe consideration in part by Colin O'Brien Men's Shop.
A retired NHL player has been given the green light to bring his horse-drawn carriage business to Saskatoon. As Allison Bamford explains, it's part of a greater passion that the hockey player has leaned on in difficult times.
Pretty hungry. Extra bales for the horses on days when it's extra cold.
A little chilly, hey?
Rich Pilon spends hours caring for his animals, feeding, grooming, and training.
Right now with the young horses, it's getting them to pull their own weight.
Pilon played 15 years in the NHL, almost entirely for the New York Islanders, retiring in 2001.
Yeah.
Now he runs his own horse-drawn carriage business.
That was kind of our hobby and pastime, was horses. So I've grown up around the horses pretty much since I've been a little guy.
For 2 years, he's cut through red tape trying to get a business license in Saskatoon.
You've spoken here before.
This week, he was finally approved for a temporary permit.
It's an amazing thing that I get to do and be part of. As much as I'm getting paid to be there, it's still amazing to see that these people are having such a good time.
More than that, Pilon says this is how he heals. Finding purpose in the routine.
There's an accountability and a commitment from me to them that if I'm not there to feed them, then they don't eat.
Pilon is open about his struggles with mental health, addictions, and attempted suicide. 4 years ago, he formed Horses and Hockey Let's Talk to support youth in northern Saskatchewan. These horses have traveled across the province, helping Pilon promote his mental health initiatives. Kids can learn about his story, play hockey, and interact with the animals.
It's to basically give them a break from their real life and hopefully like I said, fill their cup with joy. They get to have some fun.
A gift these horses give Pilon every day that he hopes to pass forward. Allison Bamford, CTV News, Saskatoon.
Hey, guys.
A pair of signings for the Riders heading into the holidays, including an extension for defensive lineman Caleb Sanders. Sanders signed with the Riders in fall 2023, appearing in 30 games since then, recording 26 defensive tackles, 5 sacks, and a forced fumble. The 25-year-old from South Dakota State also spent time with the New York Giants and Philadelphia Eagles before making his way to the CFL. The Riders also signed D-lineman Sylvain Yonjuan today, their 2025 global draft pick. A low-scoring affair Saturday night at SaskTel Centre as the Saskatchewan Rush head into the holidays with a record of 2-1. Zach Mann starting off the scoring for Saskatchewan just over a minute into the game, but the score was only 3-1 at halftime. The Rush managed to hold Georgia off the scoreboard in the second and third quarter. Despite a late-game push by the Swarm, scoring 3 goals in the fourth, Saskatchewan did hold on to the 7-4 victory. Robert Church led the way with 4 points, and Frank Chiliano made 35 saves in the win. Next up for the Rush is Halifax for the first half of a home-and-home against the Thunderbirds. Police look for your help in solving a downtown Regina theft on this week's edition of Crimestoppers.
All right, let's take a look at your rural forecast heading into tomorrow. So again, just a reminder that some of these areas, we will be seeing them under those cold warnings for part of tomorrow before we start to see those temperatures ease a little with the wind chill values, but we can expect to see a little bit more sunshine. Areas like Hudson Bay, -18, a mix of sun and cloud. Cloudy for Melfort, -18. Meadow Lake, cloudy, -21. And Lloydminster seeing a mix of sun and cloud at -21. -13 for Kindersley, -14 for Wynyard, mostly cloudy there. And then the closer we get to the southern border, some areas expecting to bump up above 0, like Maple Creek, mostly cloudy, +2, -7 for Leader, a mix of sun and cloud. And cloudy for East End Cypress, -5. Taking a look over in the southeast there, Carlisle, -14, mostly cloudy, -12 for Broadview. And Lumsden and Pilot Butte, a mix of sun and cloud, -13 is the expected high. If we take a closer look at Lashburn, located about 100 kilometers east of North Battleford. Lashburn, my friends, you are under the cold warning. Tonight, see that wind chill value dropping to about -40. Tomorrow, expecting a daytime high of about -24 with a wind chill of -29, and then dropping back down in the evening to about -33 for a wind chill value.
The incident happened on December the 12th, 2025, around 5 o'clock in the morning at a business in downtown Regina. A man broke into the business and stole several valuable items before leaving on foot. The suspect is described as a man wearing khaki pants, a dark-colored jacket with the hood up, a gray balaclava, black gloves, and black shoes, approximately 5'9" to 5'11" inches in height, and appeared to have a bag over his shoulder.
I'm Constable Dana Adams with the Regina Police Service. Did you know that Crimestoppers will pay up to $2,000 cash reward for information on this or any other serious crime in Regina? Callers do not have to identify themselves. Calls are not traced or recorded. In Regina, Saskatchewan, and Canada, call Crimestoppers at 1-800-222-TIPS. That's 1-800-222-8477. You can also access our website at www.reginacrimestoppers.ca. Remember, our community suffers when you remain silent. Please report crime.
Crimestoppers is brought to you by Leak Audiology, helping you live well with better hearing.
Over the weekend, the Royal Saskatchewan Museum held a holiday get-together, all in the name of dinosaurs.
Bells on cocktails ring, making spirits bright.
Bones and bells Tales is the first celebration of its kind for the museum, mixing Christmas with dinosaurs. Dozens of families coming out to enjoy some time with Munchie the T-Rex, as well as sing Christmas carols with Regina's own Ms. Music. The museum says this time of year is typically quiet, so it's nice to have people stopping by for a good time.
Usually, early to mid-December is a really slow time here at the museum, so we're really happy to have the Christmas party to bring people in so they can celebrate both the season and visit the museum and all our great new exhibits.
Everyone here loves the dinosaurs and everything about the museum, so it was a great Christmas party and a way to all be together and to share in the festivities with music.
The Royal Saskatchewan Museum will be open to the public throughout the holiday season, with the exception of those public stat holidays. All right, time to take a look now at your farm markets. Canola's street price is up $9 today to $539.92 per ton. The futures price was up $19.10 to $612.50 per ton. As for street prices for amber durum wheat, no change there, staying at $274.92 per ton. Red spring wheat was down slightly to $248.20 per ton. Feed barley, consistent there, $213.59 per ton. Same goes for flax at $626.04 per ton. Taking a look at your larger markets, TSX up about 244 points today, just over the 32,000 mark. The Dow Jones also up today to 48,362. As for the Canadian dollar, that was down slightly today to 72.71 cents U.S. And as we take a look now at commodities, gold was up $22.50 today to $4,491 per ounce. West Texas Intermediate crude up $1.49 a barrel to $58. Western Canadian Select up 39 cents to $43.24 per barrel. Gas prices in Regina, most common you'll see is around 104.9. The lowest is 103.4.
Investors are looking for safe places to park their money, and their go-to is gold. Gold climbed past U.S. $4,400 an ounce, beating a record from October. Silver moved closer to $70 US an ounce. Both have had a stellar year, with gold shooting up over 65% since January. Geopolitics are triggering a move to precious metals as the U.S. intensifies its conflict with Venezuela. The Retail Council of Canada says more counterfeit bills are out there, ones that even experts are finding hard to spot. It has noticed more fake 20s, 50s, and $100 bills in a month than it has in the last year, adding the rush of the holiday season means consumers and retailers have less time to notice any differences. Those are your business headlines. I'm Morella Fernandez.
Studio decorating provided by Urban Farm Girl Boutique and Home Decor.
Thanks for staying with us. A Sturgis woman is $900,000 richer after a VLT win.
A great way to go into Christmas. The Western Canada Lottery Corporation says a $900,000 vault breaker jackpot was awarded at the Golden West Hotel in Priestville last week, and the lucky winner is Heather Jabe from nearby Sturgis, who says she plans to use the money to pay some bills, buy another horse, and maybe build a big barn. She plans to save the rest for her kids. Well, that's sweet.
That's good to have a to-do list for that kind of money,
Maybe we
right?
should all make one.
Yeah,
you never
exactly.
know. You never
just
know.
in case.
Small businesses in the city were booming at the Regina Farmers Market this weekend, where vendors and shoppers were welcomed for their final event of the season.
The milestone event also capping off 50 years of supporting local farmers, crafters, and food producers from in and around Regina. Organizers say there were approximately 3,000 people in attendance this weekend, marking a special end to the market's 5th decade.
They're much anticipated. We have a lot of really great vendors out at this time of year, bringing all those festive and holiday treats that folks are looking for. And actually really exciting. This is our biggest market that we've had for the entire year. So our final and biggest market we've had for 2025.
The Regina Farmers Markets will, of course, return in the new year, with weekly outdoor markets kicking off in the spring. But based on the weather today, Sabine, we're looking at a little bit longer until the spring, and we can start doing stuff like the outdoor farmers markets and what have you.
I hope it goes by quickly, because everyone's been saying Christmas came so quick, like December, the end of December. So hopefully we'll get to like April, May real quick.
Hopefully.
I'll work on the switch to turn the weather.
Yeah, the switch from winter to summer is somewhere in the station. We're going to try and find it. Have a good night.